Hello, welcome to our live stream. Sorry about my delay and that I have turned into a ghost. I had issues with trying to get my camera to work and had to restart everything, and it looks like something has been changed in my settings. So yes, this is your ghost teaching you English today. But yes, so babe, can you leave that open? I have internet connections. Babe? One second. I have to open the door because I have internet issues. Sorry. Please leave this open because I have internet issues. Everything is. Sorry. Hello. I hope that this is going to work, that this is not going to be a national drama. Let's see. Welcome to everyone. This is our quiz for today. I am Jen. Hello, Yuki, sweetie. Can you see me? I'm like, one-to-one with the floor, with my background. Thank God I did not wear a white shirt. We have a little bit of variation going on here because of my shirt. Hi, Louisa, darling. Hello, Yuki. Hello, Demuthu. Hello, everyone. Welcome to whoever is able to join us today. And maybe you will need to wear sunglasses because this is very bright, but okay. I'm Jen, and normally I'm not this fair. I do have very light skin, but something's going on with my camera, and so it will need to be what it will need to be. I hope that it will be okay. If you don't already follow me, you can find me here at English with Jen 1, 2, 3, and I do a quiz every Tuesday like this one right now, and on Wednesdays as well. We don't do a quiz, but we have the follow-up, the second half of our topic of the week. This week we are talking about historical figures. Sue, hello to you, Serena. All right, let me pop up our first question, and I'm not sure what's going on. I hope that this is okay. I pop out and pop in. So let me get rid of this real quick. Hold on. No. We're not doing that. Cancel. And move on to historical figures. Let's see. Why is that doing that? Hold on 1 second. Sorry. Let me pull up this file. Nope. Quiz. I think I called it quiz historical figures. There we go. Okay, so number one, here's our first question of the day. Here we go, and let's see if that is going to work. Ta-da! Something's working. Hello to you, full screen, and I can read comments. Okay. Hello, Omar. Hello to you, and you have your name is there now. You're not Q. And yes, okay. So let's see. Cleopatra was famously multilingual. About how many languages is she believed to have spoken? Now, in our live stream just now, many people already knew this. This was new for me. If it's new, I don't know if you can hear me. When we go around and around, I hope you can still hear me. But yeah, so let me know how, okay, we probably are going to have the answer like this for those of you who are just in my lesson, but also let me know which languages you think that she spoke. All right, so let's make it a little bit more interesting because I have that list as well. So what can you tell me? Cleopatra, about how many languages is she believed to have spoken? 3, 5, 9, or 12? And Yuki's going with C with 9. I'm going to get rid of that annoying banner. Goodbye. And let's see, what can you tell me? So Mohammed, you're saying C, no idea. Let's try 1. I think 12. Okay. So Dimitri, you're saying 3. Okay. What else do we think? Hey, Gracie, dear. So, okay, 5. And let's see. Okay, so the answer is actually 9. She spoke 9 languages. She spoke Greek because she was Macedonian and Greek. She spoke Egyptian. She was one of the first and last of the pharaohs or the from the royal family to learn the local language. So she learned Egyptian. She learned Latin. She knew Hebrew or Aramaic, or Arabic, Ethiopian. Okay, now this I have no idea. Troglodyte, which is an ancient Nubian dialect. She knew Syriac, which I wonder if it's something from Syria, maybe, and Parthian or Persian dialects. So she knew all of these different languages. She was an extremely intellectual person. So she's always known as being beautiful, but she was brains and beauty. Exactly. I don't know the answer. Hello to you. Okay. So yeah, so the answer was 9. She spoke all of these languages. Yeah. Let's move on. Now we're going to take a look at a vocab word that we had. I think yes, we did. We had this in our last lesson. And let's test and see if you can get it right. Okay, so try to think of all the vocabulary words we just had. And I'm looking for a word that has Syria is my country. So, Omar dear, Syria, you speak most likely, I guess, Arabic. Correct or incorrect? Is native to the Syrian people. Can you let us know that, please? And question number 2, what's the word? Syria is the old language. Okay, so then that's probably Syriac, I guess. I had never heard of that. Can you speak that? Do people actually speak that language still today? Okay, so what's the word? A special charm that makes people like and follow you. What do you think? Correct. Okay, thank you for sharing. Actually, I have this thing to try to make my comments bigger so I don't have to go so close. I would tell you, so Arabic. Attractive, good guess. Very, very good guess. Charisma, any other guesses? I have to find a way of doing this so you don't see that I'm cheating. I don't know, I have to figure that out. Anyway, for now, no cheating. I'm happy my camera works, even though this looks horrible. But so charming, attractive, charisma, all great words. No, people nowadays, we don't know how to speak it. Okay, sad. That's a pity. All right. But I wonder if there are some words that you use that you don't even know are part of that. Charisma. Okay, so this has been guessed now by Yuki, by Li17. I'm not sure exactly what your name is. I'm drawing a blank. The color's very washed out though. So my camera is being crazy. But so yes, Yuki, Aliab7, and let's see, and Gracie, I think it was, or Louisa. Charisma is the word that I'm looking for. I'll write it right quickly. So you can have a charismatic leader. Someone can have charisma. And so Cleopatra most likely was very charismatic. So that was the word that I was looking for, a special charm that makes people like and follow someone. All right, heading on to number 3, and let me kind of give us a little idea of where we're going. Let's see, we are heading to Christopher Columbus. Okay, if you know anything about Christopher Columbus and you would like to add it, then please feel free to do so. This is our lesson together. Yes, Louisa, a little pat on your back for getting that right. Okay, so number 3, let's see. Here we go. Nope, my Wi-Fi is really weird. I'm trying to still download my live stream, and it's still, I don't know, it's preparing, it's not downloading. Anyway, so which of the following is not true about, oh, wait, hold on, wrong one. I messed up. We're actually going to 1, 2, and 3. Aha, 2, we're going to Napoleon, to France. He discovered America. Okay, hold on to it, hold on, Omar. Sorry, my problem, my bad. So which of the following is not true about Napoleon Bonaparte? Anything that you want to add about this specific historical figure, let me know. A, he loved reading and was very intelligent. B, he was born on the island of Corsica. C, he was exiled twice during his lifetime. If you would like to define exiled, that's a great way of practicing your English as well. D, he was very short, much shorter than the average person of his time. So, person who killed the original or the authentic Indians in America, okay, that was Columbus. He is known as a leader who discovered America, but it was negative and killing many Aboriginals here in my country. So, okay. All right. So indigenous people. All right. Sorry about that. My mistake. We're on to Napoleon right now. So Louisa's saying C, he was exiled twice during his lifetime. Not true. D, he was very short, from Demethu, who's saying that is a possibility. All right. What else? Any other guesses? Exiled. So this is when a person has to leave their country. So like if a king has to leave because another king or a political party overthrows the government, they go and they live in another country, they are exiled. They cannot return. They have to leave. No idea. C, he was exiled twice during his lifetime. So he was kicked out of France twice. D, so he was very short. Sorry, no stress. This is all for fun. I don't know. C, I guess. So exiled twice. Okay, so the answer is actually a lot of people think that Napoleon was really short. And, you know, he always has his hand in his coat and the big hat. And you see him and he has like these little kind of high heel shoes. But that was kind of the fashion of the day. And he was actually average height for that time. He was, hold on, 1 meter and 68 centimeters. So, and that was a normal height for a man during that time, which is 5 feet 6 inches. Yes. So actually, he was a normal height. So that's the one that's not correct. But he was extraordinarily intelligent. He loved reading. He was born on the island of Corsica. From what I've learned is that Corsica had just become French. I guess the French had taken it over not so long before that. I don't know from who. If it was the Italians or the French or someone else, I have no idea. Maybe somebody does. And he was exiled twice during his lifetime. Yeah, so he wasn't short. He was actually average in height. You got it. Oops, no stress. This is all for fun. Okay, so let's see. Moving on now. And let me see where we're headed. And this time I'm going to get it correct where we're headed to. We are headed to a vocab word, which we also had just now. This is a nice little repeater. I'm trying to throw in trivia and vocab words so that we practice them and learn something new. All right? So let's see. What's the word? Getting back at someone for something they did wrong. What can you tell me? What's the vocab word that makes the most sense for this? Getting back at someone for something they did wrong. We had this in regards to Nelson Mandela. So, and if you want a hint, let me know. Sorry, I'm still kind of trying to get this audio uploaded, my reel actually. I was talking about Christopher Columbus, not Napoleon. Yes, I know. I mixed it up, Gracie. I said him first. So Yuki's saying revenge. Anyone agreeing with Yuki, or do you have something else that you would like to add? So what can you say? Getting back at someone for something they did wrong. A word we just had. What can you tell me? Any other guesses? Revenge, exactly. So Yuki and Omar, you are correct. It is revenge. I will pop up Yuki's comment here so everyone can see the word nicely. Revenge. Okay, so when you get back at someone for something they did wrong, and we had this in connection with Nelson Mandela, because when he was released from prison, he did not want revenge. He wanted reconciliation, to come back together. Hello, Renate. Eye for an eye. Exactly. An eye for an eye. Good one. Very good one. Okay. so moving on, and I think now we're going to do Christopher Columbus. So if anybody knows anything about Christopher Columbus, let me know. And yeah, so sorry about that earlier, but we are heading to Christopher Columbus now. So let's see, Christopher Columbus, number 5, and do. All right. So Christopher Columbus is often credited with discovering America, but who actually reached it before him? The Spanish, the Vikings, the British, or the Portuguese? Who do you think? Tooth by tooth. Tooth by tooth. I don't know tooth by tooth. I have to look that up. I'm not sure. Okay, so the Spanish, the Vikings, the British, or the Portuguese, what can you tell me? Who was actually on that soil first? The answer is D, the Portuguese. Okay. And what nationality actually was Columbus? I know he wasn't Spanish. Was he Italian? I'm not sure. The Vikings, I watched the entire series. Okay. So B, the Vikings, B question mark. Okay. So hello to you, Ali, C, and D. Oh my God, I've been watching Living in Sweden. I think it's the Vikings. It was. So evidently, this is kind of recent, I think, in like public knowledge, that it wasn't Columbus who reached it first. It was actually the Vikings. Columbus is Spanish. Okay, thank you. I thought he was something different than Spanish. All right. Anyway, I think B. So B is correct. The Vikings were there first. A little extra information. The first outsiders to find America were the Vikings, led by Leif Erikson, around the year 1000 ADE, or actually, hold on, after that. So I think it's BCE and A. Shoot, I'm missing it out. BCE is before the Common Era, and the other one is after the Common Era. ACE, I think. Let me Google that real quick because I don't want to tell you something wrong. Because it used to be AD and BC, but those are not politically correct, and I am drawing a blank right this second. But I think it's after, so BCE and the opposite. I think it's ACE. But I don't want to tell you Jennifer Fresh. I'd rather tell you English. Columbus was Italian. Thank you. Thank you. I knew he wasn't Spanish. And he worked in Spain. All right. So, okay. So BCE is before the Common Era. So this is the scientific way of talking about years because it's more inclusive to people who are not Christians. Before the Common Era. And when we're talking about, so that's before the birth of Jesus, or the time, because we use the Gregorian calendar in many countries to talk about time. So this is before time started to be told like this. And then to say it the other way, after that time, it's the Common Era. My mistake. So common, I'm glad I looked that up. Common Era. Not Airy, Era. Not Eric, Era. All right. So those are the two ways to say that. Okay, sorry, he was Italian. No stress. Sorry, he's Italian. Yep. Okay, I was thinking he was born in Italy or something like that. I thought so too. I thought he was Italian. Okay, so that is that. So let me go back to my little Viking info here. And if you know of anything else, for those of you who have seen the documentary, Renate, if you can add any extra info, that would be so cool. Let's see. So hold on. So the first outsiders to find America were the Vikings, led by Leif Erikson around the year. So CE. So 1000 CE. So that would be, I think, during the Gothic period, I think, in the West. I don't know what was happening around the other parts of the world. I'm sorry. But yeah, so 1000 CE, Common Era. We live in 2025 CE, Common Era, just to kind of make that number sit a little bit. Long before Columbus, they landed in a place called Vinland, believed to be present-day Newfoundland, Canada. The Spanish queen gave him money to travel. He wanted to reach India, but he reached America. My ancestors, I have no sense of direction. I would have thought it was India too. For sure. Okay, so all right, heading through to another vocab word. Okay, so if anybody wants to add anything else about the Vikings and discovering America, I would love to hear it. If not, no stress. Let's see. I would love to hear what you have to say, which vocabulary word you think that this is. We also had this one today in our last lesson. Yuki, this was one that kind of gave you trouble. So what's the word? A big discovery or important progress. What do you think? What's the vocabulary word I'm looking for? In the movie, I just remember that, hold on, I'm going to get my little cheating thing here. In the movie, I just remember that they got there accidentally and lived with the natives there. Yeah. And why did they leave? Do we know why they left? And I think that they have actually found rocks that had Viking carvings and things in them. And that's how they discovered that they had been there. I think. So Louise is saying breakthrough, one word. Invention and innovation, question mark, I don't know. Any other guesses? What do you want to say? Yeah. What do you want to tell me? What do you think? Any other guesses? It's already been guessed. I can tell you that. Breakthrough. Exactly. So the right word is breakthrough. And there we go. Breakthrough. A big discovery or important progress. And remember, I used the example when in scientific research, they find something new, and they can change things, and then there's a breakthrough. They've had a question mark for a long time. How does this work? And then they find a solution to it, then there is a breakthrough for it. Yoo-hoo! Yes, Louise, you're doing really well. Okay, so let's see. We're moving on. Okay. Oh, shoot. I've been missing all kinds of banners. Oops. Let's go back. I have a couple of conversation questions. All right. So let's do this one. We'll do this at the end. This is the breakthrough that I wanted to add for now. Let's see. So in regards to breakthrough, what were some major breakthroughs in the last 25 years? Can you think of any breakthroughs in the last 25 years? What can you tell me? Breakthrough. Yes, perfect. So what can you tell me? Any breakthroughs? I have a list of about 10 different breakthroughs that have happened since 2000. Hello, Lorena, dear. A little bit late. No worries. I'm always happy to have you here. Better late than never. So what can you tell me? Any breakthroughs in the past 25 years that you can think of? I need to put my little magnifying glass here. I'm such a cheater. So let's see. The Vinland sagas, the and archaeological finds provide evidence of the Vikings' presence in North America, showing their ability to navigate the Atlantic Ocean and establish a settlement. Yeah, and maybe at that time, there was a mini ice age of some sort. Maybe that somehow was easier to navigate through the ice on land even. I don't know. Not sure. Okay, so AI, Tesla's robot, Paris Saint-Germain and Championship for Europe. Okay. COVID vaccines. What else can you tell me? Breakthroughs, important breakthroughs in the past 25 years. These are good so far. I have also some other list. One of them is the Human Genome Project. It was completed in 2003. It mapped all of the human genes, paving the way for personal medicine and genetic research. Mobile phones, definitely. And I guess actually maybe more smartphones because we had mobile phones and at the turn of the century, but they were pretty basic in comparison to today. Another one, the CRISPR gene editing tools, smartphones, okay, Gracie, and mobile internet, renewable energy advances, artificial intelligence, as someone already mentioned, electric cars. Thank you very much. That's not on my list. Water on the moon, on Mars, sorry. Okay. Advances in space exploration, SpaceX, Blue Origin, revolutionizing flight, genome editing, quantum computing progress, 3D printing is also in the past 25 years, and advancements in battery technology. So these are all breakthroughs that we've had in the past 25 years alone. Okay, moving on to a little trivia. Social media, true. Yeah, totally, right? In 2000, social media was like, was super basic. It was like just, no pictures, no nothing. There was something with classmates or something. Find your classmate. Tooth implants. Okay, I don't know about that, but that's okay. I hope so. I need to go to the dentist, and who knows? So I hope they've made some good discoveries, some good breakthroughs. All right, so let's see. Let's move on to the next one. A little trivia question for us. And here we go. Smart TVs, yes. Oop, let me get rid of my little banner here. And so, what is considered one of the biggest scientific breakthroughs of the 21st century? And my mistake here, let me see if I can make this a little smaller. Nope, that's not going to work. Okay, so I'm in the way. So, A, discovery of the Higgs boson. B, invention of the smartphone. C, first successful cloning of a mammal, remember Dolly. And D, mapping of the human genome. What do you think? What is considered one of the biggest scientific breakthroughs of the 21st century, so our last century? What do you think? Any guesses that you can tell me? They all seem pretty good to me. So I remember Dolly, the cloning of the sheep, being a massive, major event in like 1990. What was that, 97 or so? 98, maybe? It was very big news. Okay, mapping of the human genome. Higgs boson, what is that? Discovery of the Higgs boson? Okay, so Louisa, I think you know what you're talking about. I clearly don't, and this is all getting fuzzy. Okay, I think because I leaned in. I have to figure this out. Okay, stay still. Okay, there I am, blending in with the wall. Find Jen. So Pablo, thank you for describing this. And in fact, I'm going to put this up. Thank you, Louisa. So Pablo, the discovery of Higgs boson in 2012 at the Large Hadron Collider was a major milestone in particle physics. Yes, and I have no idea. So that is the correct answer. And I had no idea what this was. So yes, so we're not alone. Okay, Pablo, the two of us, we're here together. The Higgs boson was a tiny little particle discovered in 2012 in the CERN's Large Hadron Collider. It is often called the God particle because it helps explain why other particles have mass, why they have weight, I guess. Basically, it's the piece of understanding how everything in the universe gets weight, gets its weight. Without the Higgs boson and related Higgs field, I don't know what I'm talking about, I'm just reading. Particles would just zip around without mass and atoms, and everything made of them wouldn't exist as we know it. Louisa and L7DB, Does this have to do as well with gravity, or is this something totally separate from that? I really don't know what I'm talking about, but I thought it was interesting, and I'm so happy that we have some smart folks on board who know what this actually is. If you want to add anything more to this, please do so. Because for me, the only thing that kind of makes sense is that it adds mass, it adds weight. They can weigh things. If we didn't have it, then I guess gravity would just be flying all around. I don't know. Help. It's been fascinating. First time I hear about that. Okay. Renit, then have fun looking that up. This is my limit, I think, to understanding. I'm so unscientific. I should have had Peter explain this to me. He's good with these things. So, okay, let's move on to a vocabulary word. If you would like to add anything extra to this, then we will definitely talk about it. But I don't want to also put you under pressure to perform here. That's also not the mission. So let's see. We're moving on to vocab word. And I don't know if we had this today. I'm not quite sure. I don't think we did, actually. So this was one that we've had a couple weeks ago, but I don't think we had it today. I think it's relatively subjective matter to some extent. Okay, maybe. I really don't understand it, but I thought it was interesting that it was that. I had never heard of it, and I felt sort of silly. So we have some smart folks out there that know these things, and then there's us who don't. Okay, so what's the word? Something left behind or remembered after someone is gone. This is a word we absolutely had probably about a month ago. I'm going to say a month ago we had this word. And if you need a first letter, let me know. Otherwise, just guess. Something left behind or remembered after someone is gone. I don't really like the something left behind thing, to be quite honest, but okay, we're here now. So what can you tell me? What's the word I'm looking for? Yuki saying legacy, Hitoko saying legacy. Anybody else going with legacy? What do you think? Ding, 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 ding. Do you agree with Hitoko and with Yuki with legacy? What do you think? All right, Louise is going with legacy as well. So of course it's legacy. So we had this a couple of weeks ago when we talked about death. And when we talk about legacy, especially in a historical figure context, it's what they are remembered by. I agree with my colleagues. Okay, so you agree with them with what they're saying. Legacy. Okay, so legacy is it. That was what our the word was that we were looking for. And my question to you is, which we probably had when we talked about this, but okay, we're going to do this again, most likely again, is this. Okay, what are some things that people often want to leave as their legacy? So like Nelson Mandela, forgiveness, he's remembered for being so forgivable. Instead of seeking revenge, he wanted forgiveness. Who else did we talk about? We talked about Cleopatra. Her legacy is her beauty, not so much her intelligence, which is unfair because she was extremely intelligent. But what are some other things that people want to be left to be remembered by? What can you tell me? Compassion is a great one. What else? So compassion, I actually don't have on my list. I have a list of 10 things. Let's see if we can scratch some of these things off. Yes, beauty is not on the list, and forgiveness is not. Maybe wisdom, to be wise. So people want to have the legacy of being remembered as being wise. That could be an option. What else would you say? And if it's hard for you to think of other people, think of yourself. What is something that you would want to be remembered by? By their work. Yeah, Yuki, right? By the things that they did on this planet, the work they did. Gandhi. Gandhi? Gandhi. I think that's Gandhi, right? From Gandhi. We will talk about him tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll talk about Genghis Khan, Gandhi, Queen Elizabeth I, and someone else. That fourth one is escaping my memory. Da Vinci. Da Vinci. Okay, that's there. So being remembered, the legacy of being a peaceful person. Yes, okay, Gandhi's legacy is that he was peaceful. He was a pacifist. I'll write that word too, meaning that he wanted nonviolence. Pacifist. Somebody wrote to turn the other cheek. He turned the other cheek, an idiom we will have tomorrow. Respect, love for others, forgiveness, justice, memory is the best legacy. A pacifist, that was me. Some kind of knowledge, for being wise. If you're thinking of maybe with knowledge, we can say wisdom, for being a wise person, for having wisdom. You can say, yeah, okay, I think these are good. Let's continue on. Thank you for participating. Oops, hold on. Let me get rid of this. Goodbye. And remove. All right, we are heading now to France, to more specifically, the French Revolution, and to Marie Antoinette. If you know anything about Marie Antoinette, please feel free to add it now in the comments. If you're watching the replay of this, then add anything about these historical figures that you like. I actually looked it up. It's so strange because what 63% of the people that land on my account watch for more than 30 minutes, but 61% don't subscribe. So if you're one of those folks, go ahead and subscribe so we can do this every week. I don't really get that. Anyway, my brain is always sleeping. Oh, sweetie, good night then. Or just hang out and just listen. Values, C. Okay, so here we go. How did Marie Antoinette die? Illness, in war, execution by guillotine. Guillotine. So all those L's in there, gone. It's French. Yeah. Or natural causes. So that would be maybe like in her sleep or something like that. Moral values. Ooh, okay. So, right? Guillotine. So Gracie, is that about Marie Antoinette or what is that? What can you tell me? And if you know anything about Marie Antoinette, please let me know. C. So everybody's saying guillotine, execution by guillotine. Exactly. Okay. And my banner to go along with this is this. Sorry. Here we go. Is if you were Marie Antoinette's advisor, I'm assuming that you all know who she is, if you know how she died. What advice would you give her during the revolution? So you're her advisor, okay? And the revolution is going on, the French Revolution is going on. People are mad, they're upset. They feel that the king is not providing for them. What kinds of things, you're her advisor, what would you tell Marie Antoinette to do? Yuki, it's siesta time. Yeah, it's nighttime siesta for her. So let's see. If you were Marie Antoinette's advisor, what advice would you give her? There's a famous quote that supposedly she said that is actually sort of thought that maybe she didn't actually say it. But when she heard about the big uprising and people were hungry, she said, let them eat cake. And so this is a famous quote that people say that she said, but it's actually not 100% sure whether she said that or not. But if you were her advisor during the revolution, what would you tell her? To listen to her population, have compassion for the poor people. Maybe she could start a charity and she could feed people, and she could be there and to hand out the food even. Maybe she could donate some of her beautiful clothing and use that money to spend on or to give to other charities or to people. Hire people to do things, to give them jobs, something like that. But evidently her advisor did not help her. Poor thing. I didn't realize that she was part of the Habsburg dynasty. So Carmen, you're saying C, exactly. Exactly. She died by execution or she executed by guillotine. She was the daughter of Maria Theresa. Okay, I'm not sure. I know she was Austrian. I think she became queen very early in life. Like she was 19 or something. She was really young, very uneducated, very spoiled, and moved to France and didn't know the French court. And I can imagine moving from Austria to France, both very cosmopolitan cities, but Paris at the time, I'm sure, was much nicer, and trying to deal with all of the intricacies of court life. It must have been hard. She was accused of orgies at Versailles and sending millions in cash to Austria, applauding the assassination of the Duke of Orleans and of orchestrating the massacre of the Swiss guards. Wow, that seems like a lot for a fashionista. She said, let them eat cake. That's what it said that she said. However, the most infamous accusation was that she sexually abused her son. See, for me, Louisa, I think all of these sound like these are the things that her enemies would say about her to turn people against her. I wonder how much of this is actually true. A lot of bad things yeah. I think I have a little bit of empathy for her, becoming a queen at a very young age, moving into this place where you have tons of things thrown at you. Everyone is saying yes to you. If you don't have a good grounded core, then maybe you go in a different direction somehow. If you don't have bread, yes, let them eat cake. You could eat cake. Exactly. She said, let them eat cake. That's supposedly what she said. Anyway, who knows? We will have the expression, history is written by the victors. Who knows what people would have said about her, what other information would have come out if she hadn't been so hated. I'm always skeptical when things are too positive or too negative. Usually the truth, in my opinion, is somewhere in between. But I don't know, maybe. So let's see. Let's move on to our last one. We'll end with a nice little question about Einstein. Oops, sorry. Remove. And new slide. Remove. And here we go. All right. So Einstein. Cake or brioche? I know cake. I know it is let them eat cake, but maybe in French it's brioche. I don't know. Maybe it's brioche in French. In English, it's let them eat cake. Did Einstein do well in school? Yes, no, not sure. I don't know. So did Einstein do well in school? What do you think? What can you tell me? No, 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 no. Okay, lots of no's. An emphatic no. No, okay. And I'm just checking really quickly because I still have the issue that my live stream, for whatever reason, has not uploaded onto Instagram. No, lots of people say no. Her hair color changed to white in just one night. Oh, I didn't hear that rumor. Okay. He even got fired. When fired, was that from a job or did he get kicked out of school? No, as Steve Jobs, like Steve Jobs. Okay, Steve Jobs wasn't good at school, maybe. No, no. Okay, so everybody's saying no. And here's actually the answer. Einstein was good at math and physics. Okay, so he was really good at math and physics, but he didn't like memorizing things. And you know how in school you have to memorize a date, you have to memorize a place, you have to memorize vocabulary words. It's all this like learning and repeating and not actually using, which is the opposite of what I tried to do. And so he failed in that kind of area, but with math and physics, he was actually good. So yeah, failed out of school. He got kicked out of school. He got kicked out of school. You get fired from a job and kicked out of school. So this is what I learned. I don't know if it's true or not, but I thought it was kind of interesting because I had always heard that he was horrible in school, but actually he was pretty good in math and physics. but he didn't like memorizing things. He didn't like the way that the school structure worked. He felt it wasn't very good for curiosity. He was a very curious person. And if you are a curious person, the school system in many countries, I don't know of a good one, maybe Finland, I have no idea, maybe Sweden, Louise, I don't know, is really, it's not good for curious people. They want you to learn things, don't ask questions, be quiet, move on. So that was not good for Einstein. He didn't like it, but he was actually good in certain subjects that he enjoyed. So folks, that is our lesson for today. Just as a reminder, we will go live again tomorrow. If you want to come live with me, tomorrow, English with Jen 123. If you hit the little bell thing on my account, it will remind you when we go live so you won't miss a lesson. I hope to get this color fixed so I'm not blending in with a wall. I look sick. So I don't know. I don't know what happened here. It's always something though, right, folks? I agree with Einstein. If we lived in the same time, he would be one of my best friends. Okay, Omer. I'm not sure. Anyway, thank you so much for joining. Some of you now for a really long time. It's now 2 hours and 20 minutes. We've had a really nice time today. I hope to see you tomorrow. I hope to, appreciate so much your time. And thank you for watching and for showing up and creating this community with me. I love it. So, so cool. This is the best job ever. Opposite from my Don, he is very good at memorizing things and very bad in math. Don, maybe Dad? I don't know. Maybe that's a typo. At what time tomorrow? Pablo? Okay. Right now, it is 5:20 here in Germany. So whatever time it is in your country, subtract 2 hours and 20 minutes. Yes, that's the time we will go live tomorrow. I hope to see you all. We'll have the second half. Again, we'll talk about Genghis Khan. We'll talk about Queen Elizabeth I. We will talk about Gandhi and Da Vinci. So lots of cool people and more of the same. Take care, folks. Bye. Oops, I keep thinking that I have an iPad.